Yeah, right there. Who do you want to start with?
Do you want to start with the Pledge of Allegiance first?
We
That comes later.
Whatever.
No, we do that after.
Okay, all right.
the
This is, we
All right.
don't have a meeting, we're not meeting yet.
Okay, we're not at the meeting portion yet.
We'll get
All
it
right.
straight together soon.
We got-
Mohammed?
Oh, sure.
Do you want somebody to take your picture? Do you care?
Are you gonna use that one?
Yeah.
Okay. But do you want to hold the Bible for,
Sure.
would you like to do this? All right. Is that okay with you?
That is fine.
All right. Oh, I thought you were using it. Okay.
Well, he's gonna use this.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so please repeat after me. I'm going to say I and then state your name.
Okay.
I
I, Muhammad Jallo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and
to
allegiance
the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform
perform
all the duties
all the duties
of Commissioner of the Middlesex County Board of Elections,
of Commissioner of the Middlesex County Board of Elections
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sign here. Please.
Oh, I should, who are we going with? Thank you. This is Don Gadsden.
All right, Donald.
For me? Yeah, she'll do it. Okay. Sylvia's gonna do that. Sylvia's gonna do that.
Not you.
Actually, this is like reversed.
Sorry, how about if I sign?
That's better.
All right, very good. Well, a little variety, right? Okay, I state your name.
I, Donald Katz,
Do solemnly
do
swear
solemnly swear
that I support the
that
Constitution
I support the Constitution
of the United
of the
States
United States
and the
and
Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of
of
New
the State
Jersey,
of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the
and
governments
to the governments
established in the United
established
States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the
under
people,
the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of Commissioner of the Middlesex County Board of Elections
Commissioner of the Middlesex County Board of Elections,
according to the best of my
according
ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh,
Beatrice.
get out of the way first. Audience for this board.
So it's finished before I didn't go.
Pass it both that way, if you want. There you go. We're going to say I, state your name.
I, Beatrice Moskowitz,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and the
and the
Constitution
Constitution
of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith
I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established
governments established
in the United
in the United
States
States
and in this
and
state,
in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the Commissioner
Commissioner
of the Middlesex County Board of
Middlesex County Board of
Elections,
Elections,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Jim, you sit.
All right, I'm just gonna make a copy and I'll leave this on your desk. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just for everyone in the room, I'm gonna, I think this is a reorganization meeting. I'm gonna start the meeting, we'll elect our officers, we'll close the meeting, and then we'll proceed with the regular Board of Elections, monthly meeting, so. Again, we'll start with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as requested by Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The respective Home News Tribune is published the same. This announcement must be entered into the minutes of this meeting. For those attending today's meeting, please be aware that all board meetings are recorded via audio. At this point, I will open nominations for chairman. I recognize Commissioner Moskowitz.
Yes, I would like to nominate Sylvia Engel, not as the chairman, not as the chairwoman, or even the chairperson, but just as the chair, because the job is a strong one, and she fills the bill.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. Congratulations, Chairman.
Congratulations, Chair.
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 Nominations for Secretary Commissioner Registration. I recognize Commissioner Katz.
I nominate Mohammed Jallo for Commissioner, Secretary and Commissioner of Registration.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Passes. Congratulations, Commissioner.
Thank you.
At this point in time, I turn it over to the chair for Commissioner comment, and then we can adjourn and go into our regular meeting.
At this time, I'm sure Scott joins me with welcoming our three new board members today for another 2-year term.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're missing April. I look forward to working with you again for 2 years, and I'd like to thank all our staff, each and every one. Linda, Maria, Valerie, Tom, and Sharonda, and everybody else. I just don't want to go through all the names, it takes too much time. But thank you very much for everything you've done for the past election especially, the presidential election. It was a lot of work, a lot of late hours, and I just want to say thank you. Includes the warehouse.
The whole warehouse.
Warehouse staff.
Any other Commissioner
Any other
comments?
comments?
If I could just say, I'd just like to say that, having served on the board now for over a year, the conscientiousness in which this job is carried out, not just by the staff, which I think everyone expected by reputation, certainly I expected by reputation, but for the board as well and the board members. And it's important to note that, no matter what the politics are that are out there, and we're obviously all here as political appointees, there's not a lot of pettiness that takes place in this board. There's a lot of conscientious discussion, honest disagreements when there are disagreements, and that's I think it's a great service to the county. Good police service. So thank you for that.
I've got to say, I'm glad to be back. The two speakers before me said exactly, there's no really saying it any better. This is special work, and we do it because we believe in the process, and work very hard for that. And it's really the employees that do the brunt of it, and we're very grateful for you. And even though you may not feel as recognized, by the greater world that don't know all it is that you guys do and all that it takes to make an election, happen. Those of us who know that it can't be done without you. And so I for one, being here for the time that I've been here, have been awed by what you do and really extend any kudos to you all.
You can't have a lawyer not say something. So,
6 minutes, and I'll go for it.
okay.
Depends what the rate is.
Well, one, I'm happy to be back and happy to be reappointed again. And I'm glad all our staff is here. We're important to watch us. And I do want to, everything that everybody else said is all true. And I agree with it, so I'm not going to say it again. Is that short enough?
No.
Oh, you want me to say that?
No, I'm just
But not
saying,
paid, lawyers used to be paid by the word. I don't need that.
educators never will
I
pay
don't need
back.
that.
I missed that era.
So did everybody from the United States. It was all Britain, started with Britain. So, thank you all.
Anybody else? That's it?
Motion to adjourn this and then go to regular.
Oh, okay. Motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
Chairman Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Joe?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Steve, sure on that.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, just our office. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we start.
Okay, let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided, as is required by Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, with respect to the home news, to publish the same. This announcement must be entered into the minutes of the meeting. And for those attending today, please be aware that all board meetings are recorded via audio. Roll call.
Chairman Engel?
Here.
Commissioner Joe?
Here.
Commissioner Katz?
Here.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Here.
Commissioner Benjamin? Commissioner Snyder?
Here.
Adoption of the minutes from February 6th.
I move we adopt the minutes from February 6th.
Second?
Second.
Chairman Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Joe?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Old business, none. New business, polling place changes. We have a list.
We have the list. Valerie, do you want to come in?
Yeah. So you all, in front of you, included in your packets, have the polling location change requests for 2025. We'll start with Denellen. Denellen has put forth 2 scenarios. They prefer the first scenario, which would be removing 4 districts out of Lincoln Middle School and adding the firehouse, which used to be a polling location, and also the public library. And scenario 2 would be if you do not agree to remove all 4 districts, it would remove 2 districts and place them in the firehouse.
Is in connection with where these districts are, is anyone more or less convenient for the voters that are going to be moved?
Based on the size of Denellen, no.
That's, no. That doesn't tell me anything.
Whose does this request come from specifically?
The municipal clerk.
Okay. So presumably on behalf of the governing body?
Both party chairs were
Notified?
notified.
And they have no objections.
Yeah.
And then it was, I see the other asterisk says that it was inspected and it's,
They're both suitable for the polling location.
Correct.
Yeah, Valerie, if you want to go into And again, not for this election, but what the hope would be from the clerk about the firehouse, just as.
So the space in the firehouse, being that it was a newly built firehouse, the previous one burned down, the size of it is more than capable of housing all 6 districts.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a nice firehouse.
Safely, in case which part of the building?
It's the
I'm
upstairs,
sorry,
the
I
entire
answered.
upstairs.
Upstairs?
The entire upstairs, there's an elevator,
That's,
yeah,
Well, then I'll make a motion to go with their preferred scenario, scenario 1.
okay.
I'll second that.
Chairman Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner John?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Next is Metuchen.
Metuchen is proposing a permanent change of removing Metuchen High School as a polling location and redistributing those 2 districts, 1 and 3, into the other polling locations. And then based on registered voters, they would also move District 10 out of Campbell into Edgar.
And again, it seems that that all locations were expected and deemed suitable by you all, and all the party chairs were notified and there were no objections.
Correct. And attached, you have a map showing the districts and what the change would look like for voters.
All objections.
Actually, I don't mind voting on it this time, but if we're going to vote on this and we're going to look at these things, we should get this beforehand.
You can,
We did not get the voter changes.
I kind of had the same thought, like I would have liked to look at it.
I believe you
No, we
sent that, Tom.
Oh, we didn't, I didn't, unless it was sent this morning after I left.
It was sent
No, it's
yesterday.
attached.
The polling locations were not, but polling location changes requests were not included.
I
were.
don't want to argue any of that.
Did you get
However,
that?
I will tell you that as soon as I got some of the requested changes, I made some, as soon as I saw both chairs were in agreement, and I called a number of places just to make sure that in fact that was the case, and it had been discussed and agreed to. So if anybody's going to know best what kinds of changes go on, I apologize. Obviously, you want to look at the site area, other than just having it checked by.
Certainly, that's a valuable perspective, so I'll make a motion to accept Metuchen as well.
And I didn't just call Metuchen.
Well, I didn't-
Motion was
I
made
called-
second,
I
but
called a
Scott.
number of them.
Maybe I missed something, but I got an email yesterday that included both agendas and the administration reports.
This email with the map was sent by Tom.
It was sent on Tuesday.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Chairman Engel?
Commissioner Moskowitz, you're okay with this?
I'm fine, yes, as I said, I made some
No,
calls,
that's
if I had any questions or
That's
concerns.
what I was going to
I
ask.
guess,
Chairman Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner John?
yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Okay, Milltown. Milltown is making the request to remove the 2 remaining districts from Joyce Kilmer School and relocate them to the municipal building. That municipal building was inspected and it is not suitable for adding an additional 2 districts. It is very small.
You saw mine.
Their major concern with Joyce Kilmer School was the electricity in the polling location, and that was inspected and verified to be working. It's that the poll workers do not set up the location based on our diagram, and that's why there's problems.
All right, well, I don't think we have to vote in the negative, so we can just
Yeah,
thank you for that.
I've been in both, over time, I've been in both the municipal building
Right.
and the choice. Electricity.
Monroe?
Yeah.
Yep, just for your awareness, Monroe was at the tennis pavilion for the Regency community, and they are moving back to the original clubhouse because construction is complete. Our next location is Old Bridge, which you also have pictures included on what they submitted to use as a polling location. In the past, we've always used the gymnasium of the high school, and due to, I guess, sporting conflicts or potential availability of the gymnasium. They are requesting to use the main entrance vestibule, but they are not willing to move any furniture, and they're very limited on outlets.
So that's been deemed to be unfit.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So now South River.
Well, but, so what are they doing? They're giving the other site.
They're not proposing using the gymnasium, so
They can't use the, obviously they're destroying the floor, which is, I'm sure, part of the reason why.
well, there could potentially be a volleyball tournament during our general election. In the last year, they submitted for, I believe it was the school in front of the high school, and they're not willing to submit for that this year. South River is requesting that we move from St. Mark's, which was formerly St. Mary's, to a new church called Legacy. And you can see with the attached maps where that would displace the voters. And again, the mayor and local party chairs are in agreement with this move.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Second.
Commissioner Bennett?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes. So just so I'm clear, so Tom, we don't have to, I'm sorry, may I speak?
Yeah, I was, you can go ahead. Minus the question.
So we don't have to vote on the negatives and we don't have to vote on Monroe?
Monroe is just going back to its original location, so.
No,
just for
I
your
understand what they're doing, I
awareness.
just want to make sure we don't vote on them.
Locations.
Well, if you, and again, it's
I'll
up to
make, let's just take care of it. I move that we accept the full report, including the ones that we just, so we cover that. In other words, the rejection, we're not moving something, we're saying we're not moving something. We acknowledge that the Monroe is moved, et cetera, et cetera.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Bennett? Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Can I speak on this? Yeah, the reason I didn't reject it is we've taken the prior stance that we didn't want to reject things, so the failure to vote on it would just keep the status quo. But my question goes to what steps we take to notify people, you know, that their polling location has moved. I remember hearing this before, but I just like a refresher in that, and just to, you know, determine if there's anything different that we need to do in 2025.
The municipal clerk will then request mailing labels for all the registered voters and send out a mailing that their polling location has changed.
Is there anything done on social media?
That, not that I'm aware of, it might be based on that municipal clerk.
Okay, why don't we ask,
I have one more follow-up question to that. And there's nothing that we do, that has never been our responsibility?
Correct.
Okay.
Send out the letters.
and then the sample
Yeah,
ballot.
but I didn't even comment it on the original paperwork, that in fact, the concern goes back to the borough clerk, correct, in terms of notification? He
Yes.
said that to you, and I assume that your answer would have been, yes, the borough clerks are working on that.
Yeah, if the borough clerk is requesting the change, then they will send out the notification to voters.
Commissioner Katz, you wanted to
yeah,
say something?
why don't we suggest to each municipal clerk that, one, they include the change on their website, and if they have any social media page, that they include it on that as well.
Yeah.
Just suggest it.
That's fine. And I know that some in the past have used Nixle and other avenues to be able to update voters on that.
Do we ever put signage on the day of?
Yes.
Yes.
To advise? Okay,
Yes.
very good. Thank you.
And again, we talked about, we talked about signage a couple weeks ago, and that for locations where it's moved from one to the other, that we'll do
Right.
it in all three languages, you know.
So we do that.
Yes,
That's
we will do
because
that.
I'd be the one to show up at the old polling place.
Okay, next is the
I
administration.
believe Scott, did you?
If I could just ask one question. So I know that there was some other conversations and information gathering, as there always is from municipal clerks about potential changes. Obviously, these are the ones that the clerks have asked for, and that's what we can decide on. But, you know, I just wanted to, I guess, ensure, I know that there seems to be a movement to take polling places, from a municipal perspective, to take polling places out of schools. You know, a lot of school districts are now requesting that. Is there any other, I guess, I'm assuming we continue to work throughout the year with municipalities as they search for alternative options and locations, right?
Administration reports. Sharonda, you want to speak on this report?
Sure.
Early voting.
Early voting, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to early voting.
So it was again, it's not properly labeled in terms of the sheet, but it lists 10 locations for early voting that was shared yesterday. The only change in terms of early voting sites would be in Old Bridge, which had previously used the Old Bridge Library. Again, from concerns from the library as well as just spacing, Old Bridge offered the Richard Cooper Civic Center, which has a larger space in terms to accommodate early voting. It's in the same complex, same parking, so again, it wouldn't be that much of a move for voters in terms of that location. So that would be the only change. And Monroe offered an additional room in the library if we needed it for early voting in terms of turnout. With a larger turnout, we could use the second room for early voting.
Really?
Comments?
Yeah, I agree, I definitely agree on Old Bridge. I've been in both rooms, I think well, we know, he's already said it's larger, so larger is better on that part. At Monroe, I don't know how we can end up having two rooms that are not contiguous with each other as a location. I think it's helpful, although I'm not sure the library is open. The room that we use is right at the entrance, and they can keep that open regardless of whether the library is open or not. But any other room they would give us is inside the library, and I don't see how that would work. What precipitated that offer? Just because there were a lot of people?
Again, it was just reaching out to clerks and seeing if there are larger venues within their towns for early voting.
Okay. I don't see, from Monroe, I don't see that would be practical.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Moffitt.
So where it says staff recommended moving, it was their staffs, not our staff?
Our staff, the board staff.
Because I thought we agreed that it was not a good choice to make that move.
No, Old Bridge is fine. Old Bridge is good, Monroe is not.
Did you not agree that making it in two separate areas was not working?
That's Monroe.
Yes, that's what.
Whichever one it was, just at the bottom it says staff, okay. This is all on the same sheet.
Okay.
So you did or did not recommend it?
What's that? Oh, for the two separate rooms?
Yes.
I'm not a huge fan of that. Because we have supervisors and I feel it would be very difficult to split supervisors up and staff. You know, that's just my opinion. I'm a nobody.
I agree with you.
Reading is nobody.
Sorry, Don, I didn't mean to say it.
Right? Oh my God.
I know what you meant.
We're rejecting Monroe, are we?
No, it's,
No,
we
just
accept the
they offer
location,
it
just,
to us. I don't think we're getting that.
we won't be probably in the other room,
Okay.
which is fine. We have a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Chairman Linger?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Okay. I know, I have Linda's report here. We just finished up the special school election on Tuesday. I mean, we're still working on provisionals that came in or any ballots that are coming in. after the election that's on time. The annual school election, the close of registration is March 25th. Poll workers are due January 15th, challengers due April 1st. Linda would like you to look at the commissioner hearing dates. She wants to make sure that those dates and times are good. If there's any changes,
The ones
please
in
let
red.
them know. Excuse me?
The ones in red.
Yes, the ones in red. I don't have color,
The special
so.
election isn't in red, and that's coming up. I can't
Oh,
do
she's
Monday,
here.
so I'm in court on Monday, so I'll ask that in the scheduling of these that they not be scheduled on Mondays.
Is,
Yeah. We're on the first day.
yeah, I guess my question about the special elections would just be the special election dates. Because next week is rough for me as well. I will not be in the state on the 21st.
April.
No,
March.
March.
Oh, okay, I'm
I
sorry.
will not be in the state on the 21st.
That's gonna be a problem, because at least April and I also won't be available on the 21st, so we wouldn't have a quorum.
So we may need to, I don't know if we need to do that here, but we may need to circle up on, if the cure deadline is Monday, I know that we like to get things done sometimes before the cure deadline, but I don't think we're dealing with a lot of ballots, right?
No.
So perhaps we could look at, when does that election need to be certified?
2 days after cure.
The 26th?
26.
So maybe we can even look at the 25th potentially. That way we just,
25th is good for me.
everything's sort of buttoned up and we can do the last of the voting based on after the cure deadline.
25th is a Friday.
The 25th is Tuesday.
March.
Tuesday,
Oh,
March
March.
25th.
I could do that if we wanted to,
We're talking about
Oh,
March.
this one,
if necessary.
sorry.
Mine's not in red.
Well, well.
Yeah, again, I will not be returning until Monday evening.
Okay,
Is that fine with everyone?
Yep, it's fine with me.
okay.
Okay. All right,
Did you decide on the time?
4 p.m. is fine.
We can do the 4,
Anytime.
Thank
on
you.
the 25th.
March 25th.
Until that, we have 2 hearings in
April.
April,
21 would change.
and the 21st is problematic for me.
Is Tuesday, April 22nd fine?
That's fine.
Does anyone have an issue with the 22nd?
Let me look at it.
22nd of
April is the
April.
next
April.
Tuesday's birthday.
I could do that.
Anybody else?
I'm fine with Tuesday.
Second it is. Now let's move to June. June 10th is the election. How about the 16th or the 18th? Any problems?
Are they working on that now? Okay.
16 does not look great.
Hold on.
I don't,
I put it on my-
16 does not look great.
I can do the 17th.
Well, for now, I'm okay on the 17th. That's a Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm immediately available in June for the primary. My only question is just, obviously, there's gonna be, not insignificant amount of ballots. I'm assuming there's gonna be other dates as well that we're gonna have to meet to go over ballots that got kicked out for error marks and things like that, right?
Yep.
So the sooner we can get that locked in, the better.
Yeah.
But I'm okay moving to Tuesday the 17th if that's what's needed.
Okay.
And then sometimes I feel, which means it's not accurate, right? It's just how I feel. that the dates that we're here for our regular scheduled meeting aren't necessarily taken into account with these, because I feel like we could do some, work on that date as well. So like, when is our June meeting? It's It's the first Thursday. in
First hearing
November.
is on election.
It's on primary election.
Always election day.
On the
Oh, it's
10th.
our
Always
first,
election
Yeah,
day.
it's
on
that's
the
right, for June. But even like with April, like looking at April, like it's the,
Same thing.
It's the
So it's
same,
election
it's
day.
election day.
our meeting
On
is
April?
the 15th now, not the Thursday?
There's two.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Our
the
regular
regular.
board meeting.
Oh, the regular
Right.
meeting, oh.
So our regular board meeting is the 3rd, so I just, what I'm saying in general is if we're already gonna be here on the 3rd, now I realize that in this instance, it doesn't play out that way because of election day being the 15th or after, but I feel like there's been a couple of occurrences where we could have utilized the day that we were actually going to be here to do everything.
To look at
Maybe-
signatures.
Yeah, to look at signatures, so I'm just asking to take that into account. Maybe you guys have always taken that into account and that's all good. I almost feel like that happened maybe this week, right? We had something Monday, Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Right.
and we theoretically, I think, could have done it today. Or would that have worked, or could we not have done
It
it
was
today?
election
It was
day.
a school election.
It was,
We had 6 ballots, where was the queue?
I lied.
Okay, so we had to be here for election day.
Right.
All right, I'm just asking to consider that. I haven't fully wrapped my head around it, but I just want to make sure that we're utilizing the day that we're already going to be here.
Currently, there are none to look at. The only ones I got in were missing signatures, so there's nothing to look at right now.
Okay, very good. Thank you, guys.
So we're okay with,
Yeah.
While we're talking about dates, Tom, didn't we want to change the kind of?
Yeah, I can kind of, it's in my report,
It's
but
in your report.
since we're talking about calendar now, is that the county clerk needs to do the ballot draw on April 3rd at 3 o'clock.
correct.
So again, last year they used our space. It was a different day than our meeting, but unfortunately, the meeting kind of coincides with us at 5 o'clock, and the clerk is not confident that it would be done within 2 hours.
So you need our space.
They're asking if it would be okay if to use the space, and if the commissioners would like to maybe come in a different day.
So in line with what I was saying, is the 15th too far out? Do we need to have a meeting within that first 2 weeks since we are already here on Tuesday the 15th? Could we also schedule a meeting? Or would that be cumbersome to you all in some way?
Now, if you
Not
want
give us the
combine
opportunity to
both,
fairly
we can-
consider.
We can do that, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's fine with us, yeah.
Because that's kind of what I was saying, like whenever there's an opportunity to do that, we should do it.
Okay.
Okay, that would be my request, to just
There's only
have
one
it
calendar.
on the 15th since we're.
Good suggestion.
Can you just clarify what's been resolved?
So our April regular
Apologize
board
to everyone.
meeting would then be moved to the 15th, right? Am I got that right, day, tax day? And so we would combine the ballot reviews for the school election as well as the board meeting.
yeah, 4 PM.
Or 4 PM would be fine?
4 PM.
That's right.
Although if there's not.
Start earlier, that'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah, 4 PM.
When we're talking,
Although if there's not a lot of ballots, we're going to be sitting here until 5 o'clock until the regular meeting starts, but I guess that's better than.
Well, if you want to combine the meeting into,
Do we have to re-advertise the regular
Yes.
meeting for 4? I'd keep it at 5. We'll come at
Okay.
4, we'll do the first part,
Got it.
If you do it earlier, that'd be better.
and we'll come at 3.
yes,
3 is
That's
fine,
great.
I'm
12 and
available.
I'll bring lunch.
12.
No.
Well, how many are we anticipating, how many for,
This is,
We don't know yet.
for April, yes.
It's only the one town. We're going
It's
to-
only one
It's only
time.
one
It's
time.
not going to be that many,
Probably not.
yes.
3 is fine.
And Bill said he would look
So
over your
what have we got
taxes.
For me
We're
as
going to
well.
have
Bill
the
said he'd
3
look over
o'clock
on
for
Saturday.
mail-in ballot and the 4 o'clock for the regular meeting?
No, the regular meeting is scheduled at 5. It's noticed
just
at 5.
stopping them.
Yes, but are we going to change it?
It's not scheduled,
So
because
I
I
would
have
have
to
it
move
three,
it because it was
sit
scheduled
around.
for the,
Ah.
so I have to move it around.
You have to move it anyway.
Yes, move
Okay,
it.
so why don't we schedule it for 4?
4?
Yeah. Is that 5?
What are we doing? We're going to do the mail-in ballot here, we got 3, and the regular meeting at 4?
That's it.
That's fine, as long as I know what we're doing.
Regular meeting at 4.
Because we have to renotice it anyway because we're changing the date. So we might as well have it.
Okay, good. Anything else, Rhonda, on that report?
Just basically what we're working on, voter registrations, motor vehicle, which got down, updating the 2024 mail-in ballots, return mail-in ballots and sample ballots. We're working on geocodes, death list, duplicate list, prosecutor, Oprah, Daniels Law, and the 10-year letter, that has, they have no vote history. the registered voters, and the national change of address list.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, go ahead, Don.
We're staying on that.
Okay.
As of last Thursday, the same law that the governor signed to extend the early voting also moved the filing of challengers to a week earlier. So it's now 3 weeks before, rather than 2
Okay.
weeks. So just,
Okay.
and that's not just for the primary, it's for the police primary in general. I don't know if it's for school board, do you know, Scott?
I do not believe it covers school board.
Okay.
Correct.
I know it's, at least for primary in general, it moved up
Okay.
to challenge filing.
Steve?
Congratulations again. Basically, my staff finished up inspections, that's why you guys got all that long list of things, and then to vote on. And then we're working on changing over the voting machine warehouse a little bit, restructuring to make things a little easier on us with our limited space, and then we're also working on the poll book room and trying to change that as well. We are currently in the midst of setting up for both the primary and the school board. And basically just receiving, processing all this stuff that just came back from our special that we just had. And that's basically it.
That's it? Thank you, Steve. Any questions? No? Okay, Tom,
I mean, you already mentioned some parts, I'll keep it brief. Again, Governor Murphy signed the extension of early voting, which was kind of mentioned before. It'll go from 3 days to 6 days in total prior to the election. Again, the remainder report, I'll just rely on what's written, and I'll take any questions of the commissioners or further clarification.
Are you ready for?
for questions, yeah?
I could do it here or elsewhere. We changed a lot of dates. Can we have one email that gives us all the dates between now and June that we're supposed to be here, so we make sure we get it right? I think I did, but.
That'd be great.
Yes. We were
That's
over.
Yeah. Work on those changes, get them, and then
Okay.
Maria send them out to everybody.
Any more questions? No? Okay. Public comment? Oh, first, sorry, first commissioner comment, okay. Commissioner comments first.
No comments at
No
this time.
comments, I'd like to thank you, Tom, for the flowers today. That's it. Thank you very
Plucked
much.
them out of the garden myself.
Okay, public comment.
Good day, Commissioners. Congratulations. Charlie Cradaville, editor in New Brunswick Today, resident of New Brunswick. Wanted to just clarify something I heard first. The April school election's only New Brunswick now? Is Monroe not in the picture anymore?
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I wanted to follow up on an issue I've raised before. I have some handouts. If it's okay, I'll approach and just hand these to the Commissioners. I have enough for everybody.
Thank you. Of course.
So these are 3 statutes. I believe they're still, in effect and controlling regarding boundaries of districts. I appreciated the discussion today about polling locations. It's clear that many of the commissioners have, done due diligence, familiar with the sites, and want what's best for the voters. I wish the board would approach the district boundaries themselves with the same diligence and keep an eye on the total number of voters in each district, for instance, and see where there's disparities. I'll just draw your attention to the middle statute here. It's NJSA 19:4-14. Says where it appears that serious inconvenience inconveniences have been caused the voters by the size or shape of an election district, or that certain districts contain an unreasonably large or small number of voters in comparison with other districts, or that a change is necessary because of a change in ward lines, the county board may revise or readjust the election districts in the municipality. So I read this to say this board has authority if the districts are out of whack in terms of the number of registered voters or the number of voters showing up or the number of voters in a particular party, that you have the power to adjust those. And I think that, you know, district lines for these you know, sort of election district level contests come up every so often with the county committee. The county committee members have power, and when you have you know, a team of 2 county committee members that are representing, you know, hundreds or thousands of people, and you have county committee members that are representing much smaller groups of people, it violates the one person, one vote principle. And I think that if you look at this, you'll see that that's happening in almost every town. So, yeah, for instance, we see in Old Bridge, the biggest district is 5-2 with 2,180 voters, and the smallest district is 2-1 with 334 registered voters, 6.53 times less the number of voters. So, pretty big disparity. You know, in my city in New Brunswick, I noticed that, you know, 2-7 is the biggest with 1,500 plus, and 6-2 is the smallest with less than 400. Of course, these numbers do change as, you know, people get registered and get, you know, move or get taken off the rolls. But it's pretty obvious that this hasn't been addressed in quite some time. I may have misspoke in the past about this issue, and I'm not sure if you're required or compelled to take action, but I do think it would be wise to look into, and I would ask the board respectfully, would you be willing to place this on the next agenda as an item to discuss? And that would give you time to look into these numbers, verify what I'm saying, look into the statutes, get advice, talk to your staff, experts, professionals, and decide if this is worthy of taking action. I think that you know, based on this, it certainly looks like there's a huge disparity in the size of the districts. And, you know, obviously these laws were written a long time ago, but the principles should hold up over time that, you know, we should all have the same level of representation, right? So you know, if you have a district with 3,000 people in it and a district with 300 people in it, the folks who have the district with 300 have 10 times the power, right? Their vote for county committee goes 10 times as far, and it's just not fair. So I'll certainly take any questions, but that's all I wanted to bring to the board today. And can I just get an answer? Would you be willing to agendize this as an item for discussion?
Yeah, years ago, we used to do redistricting.
When a district gets above a certain level, we're supposed to do that. And I have no idea whether these are actual numbers. I take your word for it at this point. Monroe has 3,104 people in 114. That sounds like something to potentially be split, but it's something we'd have to look at. I thought some number was, is it more than 1,500 people voting in a year? Or is it 1,500 registered?
We haven't done it in so long. It used to be, I think it used to be around 1,000.
There's something there. So certainly the large ones we have to do. And I will tell you that, however, in towns that have elections by ward, there were some instances which we have to get, and the board plus the respective municipal clerk are the rewarding commission every 10 years after the census. And we cannot change the ward lines between the census. And in some instances, in order, based on the population, we have some districts that are not the size that we would prefer them to be, because we needed for the ward. So that I can't respond otherwise, except I know Old Bridge less people by ward as well as Monroe in terms of what you're looking at. So it's something that could be looked at.
Any other comments?
Would you be willing to put it on the agenda for your next meeting to discuss?
We'll discuss it, yeah.
Okay, great. And when is that meeting?
Well, the next meeting will be
Maria?
15th. April 15th. Okay,
Okay.
4 p.m.,
You
5.
want to put it on that meeting?
Yeah, I think we could.
Well,
No, I mean, that's what he's asking you. And
or
I,
you can take you can serve. I'm sorry, guys.
I just, the reason I was sitting like this is because I really believe that what you're doing is not what you're doing. When you read or hear what you're saying, it makes this whole voting process completely political as opposed to representation. You know, because the people are gonna be upset about X or Y's because one party or another seems to have any greater strength. And representation is what that vote does. So if we're all voting and we're providing the best areas for voting, I'm not quite sure that we, as board members at this point, should sit and say, you know, I don't like the numbers that you're giving me. What if that person has to travel, you know, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, however long, what's a long distance, people, 10 miles, to get to vote? I'm confused. In other words, I really don't think I want the discussion at our next meeting. If you want to put it on, you want to put it on?
No, I'm intrigued by the discussion and the concept. I'd certainly like to look into it. I don't know if committing to put it on for the next meeting is an expectation to make a decision about it at the next meeting or anything like that. I would certainly like to hear more information from our staff about it, and if it, you know, and obviously for us to, you know, potentially, you know, discuss it. I guess I'm reluctant to say yes, it's going to be on next meeting, because that typically implies we're going to take some sort of action, and I don't think I'd be ready for that April 15th. I certainly can commit to looking into it though. So
Just to add to what you're saying, just so I think everyone understands, and I know that Don mentioned when we went through this with the rewarding process, you know, there's a level of work that has to go into determining. There's a determination, that's sort of a recognition that the numbers, both registration and historical turnout, you know, if there's large disparities, there's that conversation, but then the actual action of, I think, remedying in any given town the disparity is a time-consuming, you know, it would go on for some time.
It's also past the deadline. You can't do anything now because they've already passed the deadline.
Right.
So whatever would be done would need to be done for the following year. That's already passed out.
Yeah, that was my expectation and assumption, and I just want to clarify my request. I'm not expecting a decisive vote on the 15th that would say, we're going to change X district to Y district, and you know, I'm just asking that it not be forgotten about, that it be placed on your agenda so that it can be addressed and folks can share what they found out in the, you know, whatever it is, 1 month we have between now and then. I think it's worthy of looking into, and I think that, you know, yeah, the timeline of trying to get something done for 26 makes sense, and maybe being prepared to jump on it after the general election and see, you know, the voting results and see how you can coherently and comprehensively address the issue, and hopefully get in the habit of doing that on the regular. It sounds like it used to be done and hasn't.
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah, I agree in terms of the commissioner comments. I'm happy to talk at next meeting. I would never in taking action, but I think, Tom, I think I'd like to have the commissioners, parts of whatever the statutes are applicable in terms of the triggering points of splitting a district or eliminating a district based on size or turnout. So if we can have that, then we can have an intelligent conversation of what potentially we could do with the later.
I would just wrap by saying that there's two things here. One is what the board can do, and what the board is required to do. And I think there are, the first statute addresses what you're required to do, when you're required to jump in and intervene. But I do think you have broader power to recognize that a change is necessary, or that districts contain unreasonably large or small number of voters in comparison to other districts. And once you find that, you can take action if you so choose.
And
If I have-
the result that you are looking to
I would have to say that
Equal representation.
the county committee is a party office, and the parties are not required to do a one-man, one vote. So that's a different, I understand what you're saying, but that's not what it provides.
What provides?
The one-man, one
And I don't
vote
want
Supreme
to-
Court case dealt with public offices, not party offices.
Yes, and your representation is the same if you live in a town that's as small as the one I live in, or as large as the town that Scott lives in. So I'm still gonna have one voice.
I'm saying it's not, I'm saying that the argument for one man, one vote, based on the size of the individual county committee districts, is not relevant in the text of a party position, because the case law deals with public elections. That's all I'm saying. So we're not required to do that, and we're not necessarily,
Yeah, to
this
say that
can
we're
be
not
done,
doing
but
our
it's
job
not
is a little
relevant.
bit of a
Okay.
question mark, but I'll look into that.
I apologize if I misspoke before. I do think you have the power to do it, and I do think that in terms of county
It's not a sense
committee,
of power, it's
some
logic.
towns have more seats than their voter numbers say that they should, and some towns have less seats than their voter numbers say that they should. So I'm saying, why not equalize it and have it be equal representation, have the districts be similar in the population or the voters or the number of voters in a particular party. It seems no effort is being made to equalize that, and I'm suggesting that it would be in everyone's interests, in the interests of equal representation, whether required by any court or any law or not. I'm suggesting you have the power to do it, and it would be wise to do it, and so I'm trying to present it in a factual way where you can, I'm not calling anyone out, and I apologize if I misspoke before. I truly, am learning this as I go. I'm not an expert or a lawyer or anything like that, but I'm making a suggestion. I hope you'll take it under consideration, and I hope to hear discussion about it at your next meeting, and I'll try to attend. Just for the record, recording today's meeting for New Brunswick Today. We'll post the video on our New Brunswick Today YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bill Lawrence from Piscataway. I asked this last time, and I'm sorry, I'm allowed to turn on the recorder on my phone and record the meetings at any time without asking permission, correct? Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Turn on my voice recorder, because I can't get down all the information, but I can just turn it on anytime. Thank you for that information. So I just have a quick question about the signature requirements for petitions for candidates to get on the ballot. Referring specifically to legislative district, to state and assembly, New Jersey State and New Jersey Assembly, and county commissioner petitions. So I think those numbers are roughly up around 150 signatures currently.
No, it's
I think it's 250.
Scott.
Are you talking about, may I? Are you talking about under the law that just was signed, or the prior law? What's your question?
Well, the question is currently petitions that are due, I think, on the 24th.
Yes.
Those petitions for county commissioner and for state senate, state assembly, legislative district, mine 17, those, the signature requirement has gone up drastically recently. Yes. And it's currently, for county commissioner, it's 150 per that party or unaffiliated.
I'm happy to answer the question after the meeting to you directly, but we're not, unless someone else wants to do it, we as a Board of Elections are not really involved in petitions, so we don't collect them or do any part of it. We're all in politics here, so we all know certain amounts of the information, but it's a question whether we want to answer that or not.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to answer it after.
I'm just not sure if the clerk has meetings to attend. Does the clerk, does the
A
county?
rough answer to your question about the county commission is that, it's a formula. The highest is 300, the lowest is 150, and it's based on turnout.
It's a part of legislative race, legislative.
And that is up from recently, it was maybe half that a year ago?
100, if you want to give it context, I would say it's still significantly lower than our surrounding states.
Because I'm just curious, can you advise me, inform me, what is the general principle behind having the signatures? I mean, obviously you don't want 10 signature requirements because you can have a lot of candidates. But to have it, above 50, above 100, would any of the board members here have an idea what the rationale would be for having it above 100 or above 50?
I think to the commissioner's point, that may not be a question for the clerk either. That's probably a legislative question. As the legislature passed the law, the governor signed the law. It's our job to execute the election.
Now, within our purview about signatures, I would say, or the board's purview for policy.
So it does come from the state assembly and such. Okay, I guess that was the only question. On the redistricting, there was email, was the board currently redistricting any districts? I thought I heard something, and I was thinking to myself, I thought we did redistricting 2 years ago after the census.
That was a rewarding and redistricting for the 5 towns that have wards in Middlesex County. We did that for like Piscataway, for Woodbridge, and the other towns.
You're saying currently in this year you were doing something with that, or that was?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. I thought I heard something recently, but I can't recall what it was. That's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
Chairman Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Cuts?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.